Namaste everyone who are listening to this video. Nowadays, indeed, Namaste is one of the trending style of wishing a somebody else or a person. So in this corona crisis, across the globe, instead of shaking hands or hugging or another way of wishing somebody, now practicing Namaste. That is the traditional Indian culture. We must be proud for following that. Indeed, it's a really tough time that the entire world is facing and we are all coming across. In fact, we have never expected such a kind of crisis situation, but unfortunately, we are forced to face the incredible crisis caused by a small virus. Presently, we have no other option left over, but it is mandate to adjust and live with. Of course, in this past, the humankind come across with different kinds of viruses, and we have to learn to live and living with plenty of known and unknown viruses. Corona is another addition to it. But practically, problems that we are having that may be psychological, physical, social, cultural, or attitudinal problems are more dangerous or worse than the problems created by the viruses. We, the human being, is one of the most dangerous social animal. That's why he is facing lots of troubles, and again he is blaming someone else for the situation. But in the current scenario, we are all listening to the videos through mobiles, and we are listening lessons not presently or face to face, but we are sitting before mobiles or laptops. That is the situation which is forcefully asked us to accept it and follow it. That due to the corona. So in this corona crisis, I have started my new YouTube channel to teach or educate or to create awareness among common public as well as my students on various issues. Few among those issues are regarding to their biodiversity, environment, children related issues, women related issues, workmen or laborer. Likewise, we have discussed various acts also, that may be POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace, or Right to Education Act, NCPCR Act, UDHR. Likewise, I have discussed various issues and uploaded those videos to the YouTube. So here again I am attempted one more thing, that is regarding to the Migrant Laborers Act. So in the earlier videos, that is there in Kannada language, that is discussing and focusing only on the differentiate or distinguish between organized and unorganized workers or laborers. Now this video is majorly focusing on what Act says. The Act is, that is Interstate Migrant Workmen Act 1979. In this video, I will focus only on the various provisions which is given to the interstate migrant workmen. But apart from this act, that is 1979 Act, there are plenty of acts came into existence in order to support or help the workman, either maybe laborers, yes, either maybe migrant laborers or somebody else. But those acts and legislations focusing on the welfare of such laborers. If you just remember those, that is Workmen's Compensation Act, starting from that is wages, equal wages, ESI, PF, maternity benefit, gratuity act. Likewise, there are plenty of acts came into existence and implementing across India. But even though there are more than 94 to 95% of the laborers working in India are not come under purview of these major acts because they are not working in the organized sectors. So with this relation, and what are the steps the government as well as departments have taken in order to support these interstate workers or interstate migrant workers? There was an act came into existence in the year of 1979. So in this video, I focuses only on the rights which is being guaranteed under this act to the migrant workers, and what is the role of contractors and principal employees, then what would be the major role of these state governments. My discuss is only on 4 issues I have explained and I have clearly mentioned. Now we look into 4 issues. The first issue is the rights of interstate workers. According to this act, what are all the rights are what are all the rights are given are reserved for these interstate workers? It is there, that is more than 6 major rights have been delineated. Those rights like this, that is, in addition to the general labor laws applicable to all workers, the interstate workers are entitled to following rights. Number 1, equal or better wages for similar nature and duration of work applicable for the local workmen, and stipulated minimum wages under the Minimum Wages Act 1948, whichever is more. So in this clause, they have clearly mentioned there is no distinguish or discrimination between the local employees and interstate employees. In order to provide them timings, nature, as well as the wages, there the person should maintain equality, but there is no discrimination or distinguish between the local or interstate employees. So that it's very clearly mentioned equal or better wages for the similar nature and duration of work. So here it's also mentioned according to the Minimum Wages Act 1948, whichever is to be paid, or if the nature of work is expecting more wages or more extra amount, which is better than this one, that should be paid. Either they can follow the 1948 Minimum Wages Act regulations, or what the nature of the work is expected, which is more, that should be given or paid to the interstate workers. That is the important thing. Then the second thing, that is displacement allowances should be given. So it's very clear. So when any person who wants to change his place, then they should liable to get this displacement allowances. So that is also one of the most important thing that we should be discussed, and displacement allowances should be given to them. Then the next one, home journey allowances, including payment of wages during the period of journey. Whichever time they want to travel and travel back, that should also considered as a working days, and wages should be paid for those days too, that is travel days too. So that is very much important. Even any person who is going back, return back to the home and coming back to the work, these journey hours or journey duration should be considered as a working hours, and salary or the wages should be paid for that. That is also important thing we need to understand. Then the next one is suitable residential accommodation and medical facilities free of charge on mandatory basis. So whenever it's required, these contractors or the employers or principal employers should be provide them a suitable residential arrangements or accommodation to live or to stay or to accommodate them. They should be provided with the proper residential accommodations to work. Those who are heirs from the other are interested, they should be provided with that. Then the medical, whenever it's necessary, medical expenses should be borne by the principal employer or the next one is that is termination of the employment after contract period without any liability. So that is more important thing. The contract may be terminated, but before or prior to that, no employee should be terminated. And also, that is, if anything is happening like this, they should be informed or intimated earlier or prior to that. Then the last one is a right to lodge a complaint with the authorities within the 3 months of any incident or accident, etc. During the work, if any incident or accident which may cause for the various haphazardous or any other issues, there these interested workers are liable to lodge a complaint at least before 3 months of time or before 3 months when the incidents take place. If anything is happened to them, that is being informed to the concerned authorities with the regard to the incident or accident. These are all the rights are provided or guaranteed according to the 1979 Act to the interstate workers. Then we look into the another issue, that is role of contractors. Registration of all contractors who employs or employed 5 or more interstate migrant workers on any day of the year preceding 12 months. So where with whom more than 5 people are working in any day of 12 months, any day of a year, anybody employs interstate workers, that particular person should be registered as a contractor. That's mandated here. So without registration, no person can employ interstate workers. Furnish the details of workmen periodically in such forms as prescribed by state government. That is, there is a very clear-cut format is to be given to all contractors, which talks about in which format the contractor should keep all the details regarding to the interstate workers or migrant workers. That is, everything should be keep it ready whenever any person or inspector is inspect. During that time, they are liable to express or show the details of a workman working with us. The next one is maintain the registration. Maintain the registers indicating the details of interstate workers and make available for scrutiny by the statutory authorities. As I said in the previously, whenever any official is visit to the spot and inquire about this, the contractor should be liable to produce all the document with regard to the interstate migrant workers. Then the next one is that is issue of a passbook affixed with a passport sized photograph of a workman indicating the name and place of the establishment where the worker is employed, the period of employment, rates of wages, etc. to every interstate migrant workman. Anybody who employs a workman, he or she, contractor must be maintain all the details with regard to the workman, and the wages should be paid only through the checks. The passport size photo with the passbook, the nature of the work, then period of the work and rate of wages, everything should be maintained in the register, and whenever anybody is inspect to the office, then they are liable to show. The next one is reporting by the contractors, the incidence that fatal accidents of serious injury of such workmen to the specified authorities of both the state and also the next of kin of the workmen. So if something has happened during the work time, then contractor are liable to inform the state government and relatives regarding to the workman. That is mandatory. That should be done. The next and last one is liable for the prescribed punishment for violation of committed under this act. So any problems or any mistakes is done, these contractors are liable to get punishment which is clearly explained in the act. That is with regard to the role of contractors. Then we'll move towards the role of principal employers. So registration of all principal employers who employs or employed directly or indirectly 5 or more interstate migrants workmen on any of the preceding 12 months time. So in the year, any person who employs more than 5 interstate migrant workers are liable to get registration under this act. Then next one is maintain the registration indicating details of interest workers and make available for the scrutiny by the statutory authorities. So whenever there is a person from the department or the state government and inspect any information regarding the migrant workmen, then they are liable to produce before them. Then the next one is every principal employer shall nominate a representative duly authorized by him to present at the time of disbursement of wages by the contractors, and it shall be the duty to the such representative to certify that amounts paid as a wages is such manner and may be prescribed. Next one is principal employer shall be liable to bear the wages and other benefits to interstate workers in case of failure by the contractor to effect the same. So it's very important thing in which we need to discuss. If any principal employer is employing any interstate workman through any contractor, then principal employer is paying wages to the contractor and that person is paying wages to the interstate migrant workman. If something has happened, then this principal employer is liable to guarantee the amount or the other benefits to be given these interstate workmen. It's very much important. Where contractor fails to provide fair or just wages as well as the other facilities, then officials will ask principal employers to pay the same. So that better we should employ any interstate migrant workers directly rather than employing a person through the contractors. It is most important thing we need to understand. Then the last one is liable for the prescribed punishment for violation committed under this act. If any violation taking place according to this act, this principal employer is also liable for a punishment. That is thing, whichever punishment is been given to the contractor, that is same is been given to the principal employers also. These contractors as well as the employers should have a good understanding, and all the services or benefits or whatever support is been extended to the employees or the migrant workers that can directly reach to them. We can make sure that all the support or the facilities is being given to the interstate workmen or the migrant workmen that is reaching them. That is the responsibility of the principal employer. Then the last information, the last issue that we are going to discuss, that is role of state governments. What would be the role of state government? That is, the first one is states appointment of the inspector to oversee implementation of this act. It is a responsibility of the state government to implement this act without fail. That's union government is clearly talks about it. It's the responsibility. Then the next one is appointment of the registers officers to grant and revoke registration of contractors, principal employers or establishment. Whoever wants to register their contracts or employers or the establishment under this act, the state government should provide proper arrangements to appoint a registrars to register under this act. So it's very clear. Either maybe any employer or principal employer or contractors or the establishment wants to register under this act, it's a responsibility of the state government to appoint a registrars to register under this act. Then the next one is appointment of licensing officers to grant, suspend and revoke licenses to the contractors, principal employers or establishments. So it is also important. So if anybody was to renew his license of any contractor or a principal employer or establishment wants to renew its license, responsibility of the state government to appoint a licensing officers to grant or suspend or revoke licenses. And next one is making rules for carrying out the purpose of this act subject to the conditions of the previous publications. According to the publication, government should take necessary actions to implement this act without any distractions. And the last one is entertaining appeals from the aggrieved parties and disposal of the same as per this act. Is wants to explain to you people to understand the 1979 Interstate Migrant Workmen's Acts. Here it's very clearly talks about the rights of the migrant workers and the responsibilities of the contractors as well as the employers and state governments. In the interest of interstate migrant workmen, the union government has made very mandatory that this act should be implemented properly and there is no discrimination is being happening to the interstate migrant workers, and there is no discrimination between interstate migrant workers as well as these people. This is what I just want to explain you about this act. And finally, if you like this video and you understand the information which is being providing, and finally, if you want to make any suggestions to me, you are appreciated to comment on this video, and we love to receive your comments. And still you are not subscribing to my YouTube channel, please subscribe it to get new notifications about the videos. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you. Namaste.